Returning to teaching can be daunting after a break, but many do return and want to return, bringing with them a wealth of experience from other sectors as well as life experience. Are you one of those teachers who've returned, or are you thinking about returning to the profession? Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from My Progression, and today we're going to explore how to make the transition back into teaching. We're going to give you a step-by-step guide of how to confidently return to teaching. There are many reasons that ex-teachers re-enter the classroom. The reasons may range from returning from parental leave, a career break, or perhaps exploring other careers or time spent living abroad. Returning teachers often feel nervous and a little anxious that they're out of date with new initiatives and current policies. We don't want that to put you off at all. But what we want you to do is consider the wealth of experience you've gained and how you can now bring that into your classroom practice. Your schools need you. We hope that we can help you make that jump back into education. Teacher retention is high on the agenda in education currently, and quite a lot has been done to support newly qualified teachers to remain in the profession, with extended support for ECTs in England over a 2-year period of time. However, recruitment has been lower than previous years, and there is the concern that there's a lack of teachers to fulfil the roles within schools as teachers retire or leave the profession. A Department for Education survey found that 40,000, almost 9% of the workforce, left state schools in 2021 to 2022 before retirement. That survey found that unfulfilled teaching vacancies were also at a record high. Once you've gained QTS, you don't lose it if you don't work in education. You can only lose QTS if you're barred from teaching over serious misconduct. It's quite a regular occurrence that some teaching staff decide to take a step back and not leave education, but work as support staff for a while. I know a number of qualified teachers who work as teaching assistants and then rekindle their love of teaching. We would love to hear from you regarding your experiences of leaving education and returning to teaching, or your decision to step away from teaching and gain a different perspective on school life whilst working as a support staff. Please drop us a comment below, and whilst you're there, why not like and subscribe to My Progression and click on the bell to hear more from us. How to return to teaching. So what are the rules? Where do you begin? Are there any rules and regulations surrounding this situation? Well, actually, there's little advice and guidance for the returning teacher, with no specific requirements to be met. So basically, you can apply for any teaching job as long as you have QTS and an up-to-date DBS. This is quite surprising, but we do hope that the advice we've put together will support those of you thinking about returning to teaching. There used to be a time limit as to when a newly qualified teacher had to complete their induction period. However, there have been recent changes to this, which will support many in returning to teaching. Whilst ECTs are encouraged to start their induction as soon as possible after gaining qualified teacher status, there's no set time limit for starting or completing an induction period. An ECT's QTS cannot be lost or affected by the length of time it takes them to complete their induction. So once you've decided to return to teaching, it is worth really contemplating how you can best prepare yourself. If you have QTS and experience, you can apply for teaching jobs. Yes, you may have had a break from education system and you may be asked about your time out of education, but you can use this to your advantage. You'll have gained experience in the world outside of education. Whilst there's no specific return to teaching courses required to re-enter the teaching profession after a break, secondary teachers can access support through an RTTA. The RTTA is Return to Teaching Advisor. Advisors can give you free one-to-one support with the application process, such as writing personal statements and preparing for interviews. Information about this resource can be found on the Return to Teaching campaign page linked below. A few things you could do to test the waters and assess if teaching again is for you. So one question, are there teaching jobs available? I can tell you right now that answer is yes. The first thing you need to think about is, what do you want? You may want to work part-time. You may want to step down from the level you were working. Going back into teaching, feeling informed will support you in making the transition back to teaching. So some may feel a little support and help would be better to reorientate yourself back into teaching life. Approach a school and ask if you can observe to reorientate. You could even volunteer in a school whilst considering your next steps. This will allow you to familiarise yourself again with school life. You may be able to build on the areas where you would like experience. It's definitely worth asking, and whilst the school gain from having an extra adult, as an experienced adult, you are gaining experience to meet your needs. Some teachers find that working in the classroom as a TA or support or a cover supervisor is an ideal way to gain experiences within a school setting, but also allow a readjustment time when considering applying for teaching roles. A supporting role in a school will allow you to observe and also learn a great deal about any changes you may not be up to date with. See our video on working as a teaching assistant to understand what wealth of learning can occur in such a role. Being in the classroom as a teaching assistant may help you to make an informed decision about returning to teaching on a permanent basis. Supply teaching is a perfect way to ease yourself back into the classroom for many reasons. You can choose the days you're available to work. You can gain experience in a variety of settings to broaden your experience as well as your confidence. Supply teaching allows you to keep your hand in by building on the experience that you already have. If you work part-time, you could keep working in your current role, but be available to teach on specific days whilst assessing your options to return to education. Now, if you do have two jobs, check in with the HMRC to let them know what you're doing, as initially you will be taxed at the higher level on a second job. Supply teaching can be the right balance when returning to teaching. I know many teachers who love the role of supply, as they're doing what they love, teaching, without the pressures and the responsibilities that permanent staff have. Supply teaching is a great way for teachers to readdress that work-life balance after experiencing full-time permanent roles. Supply work is a great way to dip your toe in before committing to a permanent position, a sort of try before you buy situation. For any school to take you seriously, you'll need to show that you have up-to-date experience, are aware of current developments and initiatives in education, so time spent in classrooms to update and refresh your skills is crucial, and supply work can give you all of those things. If you want to know more about supply, see a link to the Teacher Active webpage in the description below to get in touch. The paperwork. Make sure your CV is up to date. Keeping your CV up to date on a regular basis can save you so much time. Make sure there are no gaps in your working life, and if there are, make sure you can explain them. For more guidance on writing a CV, see our video on the 10 rules of CV writing. Your personal statement will be important when applying for jobs. A personal statement will promote your teaching experience, successes, and enthusiasm for teaching. As a returning teacher, use your time away from the classroom and perhaps in another field of work to enhance your statement and reason for wanting to return to teaching. So, now that you're ready to make your first steps back into education, here are 10 simple steps to make sure you're as prepared as possible. Step 1. Talk to others that have been in the same situation as you. What did they find useful? Is there anything they wish they had done when deciding to return to teaching? Joining Facebook or LinkedIn groups can be a helpful way to reach out to like-minded people who can offer first-hand advice for getting back into the classroom. Step 2. Be positive and aware of your own motivation. Try not to listen to others who want to talk you out of it. If someone says, "Don't you remember how stressful Ofsted was?" then think back to what's pushing you to go back to education, and you will be asked this in an interview. Step 3. Read up on any curriculum changes, and if you're unsure, ask the question. Curriculums can change a lot when you've taken a break from education, so keeping an eye on websites or articles with any curriculum updates will make sure you're ready to go. Step 4, feel prepared to return to the classroom physically, mentally, and emotionally. You know you need to be firing on all cylinders to cope with the teaching week, so ask yourself, do you feel equipped in these areas? Step 5, update your CV with what you've been doing recently. Step 6, develop your personal statement. Your personal statement should be able to link in other experiences you can bring into the classroom. If you've spent the last 5 years working abroad, your personal statement could say how your experience of different cultures could be transferable to the classroom. Step 7, volunteer or spend some time in a school setting, possibly a previous school you worked in. This will help reacquaint you with school life. Step 8, find a role that's right for you. Every school and class are different, so make sure to take the time to research the school or role to give yourself the best chance of being happy, successful, and fulfilled. Step 9, remind yourself of the difference you can make to the lives of the students you teach. Remember, you can be the difference between a student passing or failing. And finally, step 10, take the bull by the horns and apply for a role and ask for training in areas you feel less confident in if needs be. Schools have a responsibility to make sure their staff are well trained, and asking to attend courses can be part of your professional development. It also shows your new manager how eager you are to improve and grow. The most important part of returning to teaching is your passion. Your passion for teaching is what makes your students laugh, learn, and step out of their comfort zones and make lasting memories. We all know that working as a teacher is no walk in the park, but it can also be one of the most rewarding jobs you can have. So use this opportunity to remind yourself why you chose teaching in the first place, and use that to help you prepare for stepping back into the classroom. We'd love to hear from any of you who've had a career break and returned to the classroom. Let us know how you found the experience, and please share any advice you feel could help someone in a similar position. I've been Natalie from My Progression, and let's keep your career in motion.